Okay, so let's make our project together. I'm going to kind of walk through how I would do this, and then you're welcome to run free on your own and do your own thing. So the project for this class is to make a geometric collage using shapes and layers. So we're going to put some layers on top of one another, put shapes on top of one another, and see what happens, and kind of create nice colorful compositions. Okay, so I'm going to create a new document. And I'm just going to make it, let's do 800 by 800 pixels. And now you can make yours any size you want. I recommend 800 by 800, maybe 1,000 by 1,000, or 1,200 by 1,200 pixels. But you definitely want to do pixels, and you definitely want to do 72 as your resolution, 72 pixels per inch in RGB. Again, we're just designing for looking at screens. So we just want to do pixels, 72 pixels per inch, and then also RGB because we're designing for screens. Okay, so I'm going to name this Final Project and press OK. All right, so I'm going to press F to bring this to full screen. Okay, so it's full screen now, and it's not quite 100%, I don't think. So let's bring my zoom tool up and do fit screen, and now it's 100%. Okay, so first of all, I want to put a background that isn't quite white. So let's pick our color first. So I'm going to go over here to color. I'm going to click on this foreground color, which brings up our color picker. And I'm just going to pick a color that I like best. So let's go for, how about like a nice corally color perhaps? So to get coral, I want to go in between orange and red. And I'll just select, how about this color? So I'll press OK. So now I have this color selected. You can see it in my foreground over here, and then also in my foreground over here in the color palette, the color window. Okay, so to create a new layer that is completely filled with this coral color, we would go down here to this, what I call the black and white cookie, because it really just looks like a black and white cookie. It is adding a new fill or adjustment layer. So I'm going to click on that and then go up here to solid color because we just want to add a solid color. So I go solid color, and there's my coral already selected for me. I'm going to press OK. So you can see here I have my layer. I'll turn it off and on. It's called Color Fill 1. I'm just going to rename it Coral. Okay? So we just have our locked background layer and our coral layer. So it's time to make some shapes. So first of all, I'm going to make my first shape, and I want to first create a new layer. So again, this button down here, create a new layer. Here's my new layer, layer 1, and then I'm going to go over and select my shape. So let's start off with just a perfect square. So I'll select the rectangle tool. And remember what I told you before to make a perfect square is that you hold down Shift while you click and drag. And then there's my shape. Okay, I can't quite see it because it's coral. So in order to change the color, I can do two things. I can either, in my properties window here, I can change the color by clicking there. Or my favorite method is to minimize that properties window and then come over here. And in this box here, you can double click this box and it brings up the color picker. It's pretty handy. So I'm going to make this white. So I'm just going to drag this over to white and press OK. So then I'm going to either press this move tool button, or I'm going to do my shortcut of V, and then I can select and move this around, move it to where I want, and then I'm going to go over and rename my layer white square. Okay, so now I have coral layer, white square layer. Let's make another shape. Okay, new layer. Let's make a triangle this time. So in order to get to the triangle, I need to click and hold on this rectangle tool, and I need to find that polygon tool. So I'll select the polygon tool. You'll notice if I make a shape, it's going to be this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided polygon, which is not what I want. I wanted a triangle. So I'm going to do Command Z to go back in time. And up here on these options, there it says size, and it's on 5 sides, which is a polygon. I want it to just be 3 sides as a triangle, so I'm going to change this to 3. So when I'm creating a triangle, if I want to create a perfect triangle, same goes as the square. So hold down Shift, and then I'll create my triangle, and you'll see it kind of snaps to these different dimensions. I just want it to be like this. So, oh, that's too big. So I'm going to make my triangle about this size, and then I'm going to let go, and then hold down space to move my canvas around. And you can see my triangle is coral again, which I don't want. I'm moving it around, but I can't quite see it because it's the same color as my background. So I'm going to double click in here again, bring up the color picker. I'm going to pick just a darker coral shade. How about that one? So you can see here the shade that you originally had versus the new shade, which is really helpful to kind of compare things. So there's my new coral triangle, so I can drag this around and place it on top of the square if I want, or I could move the layer under the square layer by dragging and dropping, and now my triangle is behind my square, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's make a circle now. So let's do new layer, and then we'll click and hold on this polygon tool, and we'll bring up the ellipse tool. And same goes. If I click and drag, it's going to make an oval of any shape and size. I could either do an oval and let go, or press Command Z, because I want to go back, because I want to make a perfect circle. I think you probably know what I need to do to make that perfect circle, which is press, again, Shift while I'm clicking and dragging. Okay, so here's my circle, about yay big. Again, it's coral, so I'm going to double click here, which brings up that color picker, and I'm going to pick, which color should I do this time? How about like a dark gray? Maybe like that. Perfect. Okay, so it looks to me like the dark gray is kind of dominating, so I'm going to stuff it behind everything else and drag this dark gray layer behind. And you can see I have two unnamed layers, which I really don't like because as you get more and more layers, it's hard to find things. So I'm going to rename these layers dark coral, coral triangle, and then also dark gray circle. Perfect. Okay, so let's just quickly make some more shapes. I'm going to do this fast since we've already been through the others pretty slowly. There's a long skinny rectangle. Again, so if I double click this, if you notice when I move my mouse out onto the canvas, it has the color picker. So I could just sample white or sample this dark gray color or sample the dark coral, which is exceptionally helpful. Okay, so I'm going to move that to the back and kind of rearrange it here. Okay, name this white bar. And then new layer. Let's make another tiny little circle. Pick the ellipse tool. Hold down Shift. Perfect. Okay, so here's my circle. Let's double click to bring up the color picker. Let's make this one also dark coral. Okay, and as you see, we can't really see the circle because it's stuck underneath these other layers. So I just need to drag this layer up above those layers, and now it's on top. So let's bring up our move tool by pressing V if we don't have it already, and there it is. We just can't see it because it's the same color as that other triangle. Okay, so I kind of like it right here. That's interesting. Okay, so I'll do small dark coral circle. Okay, so I think I need something here and then something maybe over here. Okay, so let's do another square. New layer. Let's get our rectangle tool. Holding down Shift, make a perfect square. Let's make it about this size this time. And then let's make this one, let's go white again. And then I'll put it back behind the circle and title this white square. Oh, but we already have two white squares, so before that I'll put large because it's a little larger than the other one. Okay, last but not least, I need something right here, and I think it needs to be dark gray again. Let's do a more complicated shape. Let's go to Polygon tool. Let's give it 8 sides. Let's make it an octagon. Okay, so here we go. Dragging. And this looks okay to me. So as you can see, I have a coral octagon. I'm going to change the color to dark gray and rename it dark gray octagon. Okay, so the last thing I would like to do is to resize this octagon because now I'm thinking it looks a little too large. Alright, so in order to do that, I need to make sure that the octagon layer is visible and selected. I'm going to bring it up to the top just so that it's on top of everything and I can see it a little bit better. So to resize it and make it a little bit smaller or larger, I just need to press Command T while the layer is already selected. And it brings up this bounding transform box here. And you can see if I pull on any of these corners, I can reshape it and resize it. The only thing I don't like about this is that it's not really keeping those perfect octagon ratios. It's kind of weird warping shape. So I'm going to press Command Z and go back in time to where it was perfect. And then I'm going to resize, again, keeping the proportions right by holding down Shift. And as you can see, I'm resizing and it's really not warping anything, which is really nice. So I'm going to make it about this size here. which is perfect. So to save this, I can either double click in here or I can press enter. Great. Now I can move this around. I like it on top. I think it looks nice. Okay, so I'm going to keep it there. That looks great. Okay, so last but not least, I'd like to resize everything just to give it a little bit more white space around my canvas. So in order to do that, I need to have all of these layers except for the coral layer selected. And in order to do that, I need to have either the top or the bottom layer selected, and then go all the way down, hold down Shift, and then click at the bottom. So that selects everything except for the coral layer. Again, if I wanted to start at the bottom, that's fine too. So I hold down Shift and then click at the top, and they're all selected. So now you can see I can move them all around. Let's get out of there. So I can move them all around, which is really nice. And then I can also resize them. So when they're all selected, I can do Command T to transform, and then again hold down Shift while I drag. And look, they're all getting smaller and larger, and I can make them real big or really small, whatever I want. So I'm going to do maybe about this. Looks perfect. Maybe a little larger. Yeah. So again, double click or press enter. I double clicked, and now I can move this around, which is nice. So let's find the visual center, which appears to be, let's say, about right here. And now it's in the center. So we have this nice abstract geometric shape collage here with colors. And I'm really excited to see what you all do. There's so many different colors. You can do all sorts of shapes and sizes of shapes and different kinds of polygons, which will be really nice. Different sides on your polygons, for instance. I hope you guys get really creative and do some fun things because I really can't wait to see them. I will absolutely be taking a look at everybody's projects and tracking your progress along the way. If you have questions, please post them in the class Q&A discussion feed, and I'll try to take a look at those. If I can't make it to your questions, please answer your classmates' questions if you know the answer. Help each other out. It's very, very, very helpful to have such a fostering environment inside of Skillshare. And so if you guys give each other feedback on your projects and try to address each other's questions, this is just going to become a better experience for everybody. And again, I will keep an eye on everything and try to pop in every now and again because I really, really love seeing what you guys do, and I can't wait to see your final projects. Okay guys, so this is the end of Photoshop 1. It's on to Photoshop 2. Thank you all. Bye.